Thank you for having us, Greg, here in Mansfield, Ohio. I first want to say that this is a magnificent building, okay? And I know that you are the lead investigator for this place, but I want to call you the curator.
Curator?
I want to call you the curator because after you tell these stories, people will understand why you would be the curator. So what made you choose this place out of all the places that you could have chosen to work here? Like, this is your location.
The first time my wife, Kathy, and I investigated here was 2004.
Okay.
And when we were coming down the drive, I was like in awe. It was like, holy crap, we're gonna be inside this building at night. And then when we got here inside the building, I fell in love with it.
Yes.
And I told her, I said, when I retire, I want to start working here. I retired in 2011, and both Kathy and I started volunteering here in 2013.
Really? Hey, when we talk about people that have got a plan and stick to that plan, this is a true definition of a man sticking to a plan. Because I can tell you a million times how many times I said I was gonna do something and didn't do it. And he did it.
I did it.
He did it. So since you've been here, since you said 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Since 2013 to date, which is to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any activity happen to you in this place?
Some, yeah.
Okay, and what is the craziest incident that you experienced where you was like, whoa?
The crazy experience happened last year in May,
Okay.
May of 2023. When we do private ghost hunts here,
Yes.
we have our own little break room just outside of where our guests are. And it was basically our kitchen. And there's like freezers and refrigerators, commercial stuff. But we had a security TV, so we would just sit in there, watch the cameras, and do whatever. Well, one night I was working by myself. Usually we have at least two people, but this night in particular, I was by myself.
Okay.
All our guests are out investigating, and I'm sitting in the kitchen, slid up, fine, I got the TV on, the cameras, and I'm working on parapsychon stuff. And as I'm working, I hear this noise, and I look over, and there's a 2-door commercial freezer in there that's only been in there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And as I look, the door is just opening and slamming on its own. It's like bang, 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 bang. I was like, holy crap. I mean, there was no logical reason why that door was opening and closing.
Hold on, Greg. Let me make sure I got this straight. So you sat there and watched it bang like 5 times. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have known the other 4 bangs because I would have been out of there after the first one. What makes you stay?
You get used to it, and that's why I'm here. I want to experience things. And this happened at 10:30 in the evening, and I still had to be here till 3 a.m. And it didn't scare me. It amazed me. I was like, I was just sorry there was nobody there to witness it with me. I immediately called my wife, Kathy, at home. I'm like, you are not going to believe what just happened. And when the guests came back, I told them what happened. And they're like, didn't it scare you? No, it didn't scare me at all. I stayed in there for the rest of the night. It never did it. In fact, that was like almost a year and a half ago. And it's never done it since. So it was just one of those things that when I'm here, I want to experience things. Yeah. It doesn't freak me out. There's other things here that freak me out more than the paranormal.
Really?
And that's, well, yeah, so we got cardboard cutouts that'll terrify you.
Okay.
So, you come around a corner and there's somebody standing there, freak you out. The raccoons, bats, pigeons, all that kind of stuff. Those are more terrifying than the paranormal here. Most of us are here, we want stuff to happen to us. That's why we do what we do.
Right.
And I am not going to run away from that stuff. It's like I want to figure out what it is, but that I could not figure out. I mean, how do you explain that?
Yeah, that's 5 bangs from the refrigerator.
It was actually 8.
Yeah.
It was 8. It was a bang, 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 bang.
No, 1 is excessive.
Yeah.
7, I'm getting the hell out.
Yeah.
Like
no. Well, sometimes you freeze too. You're like, you freeze. You can't move.
Yeah.
So you're like, even though I wanted to, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, holy crap! Did I just see that? And then it's like, nah, I couldn't have saw that, but I did.
Right. So so obviously you said you and your wife both work here. So has your wife had any experiences?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think she's had more crazier experiences than I've had.
So does this? I mean, I'm just asking because I don't really know, because this was a male prison. Do you think they react more to females than they do males, or it doesn't matter?
In certain areas. Certain areas are different,
Okay.
such as the West Attic. Women have to be careful up there
Okay.
because they can get touched inappropriately. So that is one area that women have to be careful.
Okay.
And we've had other areas in the prison where people get physically attacked. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female. We get both types attacked. So besides the attic, I don't think there's any other place that the women are treated differently.
Okay.
But no, it's like they're equal opportunity scratchers.
Got you. So
We've had a problem. Well, it's not necessarily a problem. I think it's basically a pandemic at this point of trying to get Gary to understand what we all know, that the paranormal does exist. We've brought him to plenty of locations. This is the first prison that we've ever done. And I know that this prison has housed some really nasty people, and some really bad things have happened here. Happened all over different places. Do you think that Gary being 6'6", 260 pounds up until this point was intimidating to ghosts that may not have been in this type of setting?
Oh yeah, yeah. And here it's different because it's almost like a challenge for them.
yes.
So because there's always somebody that's bigger and badder,
Yes.
and so you could have some of those here.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, but I'm just assuming that cops, whenever they come here and do investigations, they're not treated too well when they come through from an activity standpoint.
Well, I'm a retired police officer, and
That's probably why he was slamming that damn refrigerator doors 8 times.
And here's the thing. What I see the difference. I let them know that I'm a police officer, but I also let them know that I treat them with respect. I care about them, and that's how I was with as a police officer too. I never treated anybody bad. I always treated people with respect. Here they don't do anything bad to me. Yeah, I mean, I've heard footsteps and voices and things running up toward me, but we have had Mansfield police officers up here in full uniform, and they've had stuff thrown at them. So, and all they were doing was just in uniform, but they were up in that West Attic.
So what would you say is the hidden jewel of the Ohio State Reformatory? If you could give anybody out there just the hidden jewel, like, hey, this is something that you either got to see or you want to be a part of, because this is something that no other place can offer. What secret would you give them about this location?
As far as location,
Yes.
West Attic. The West Attic is the most active. It's
Is
like
there a reason why West Attic is?
yeah.
What's that reason?
They used to house inmates up there. In 1930, there was a major fire at the Ohio Penitentiary in Columbus. They had to find other prisons within the Ohio prison system to place the other inmates while they rebuilt the penitentiary. Some 200 and some came here. Now, the only place that they could put them was up in the attic, because back in 1930, the guys coming from your penitentiary, they were your worst of the worst. They were your murderers, your rapists, your lifers, your felons.
Yes.
1930, this was still an intermediate prison for young first-time offenders. They could not put them with the general population, so they put them in the attic. Now, the attic has no cells.
That's what I was just thinking. It
So
doesn't sound like-
think of the attic as a big college dorm room with worst offenders in the state of Ohio. Guards would lock the door because they're not going to patrol in there because they would have been murdered. So You can just imagine what went on. All the violence, all the murders, assaults, rapes that occurred up here. That's why it's almost any time that anybody goes up there, something happens. And a lot of times I don't tell people what goes on up there. And then when they come back, they're like, oh my God, we experienced this, we saw this, we heard that. I'm like, that's what people experience.
Oh, wow. Like, is our team okay? The West Attic seemed like it's a...
As long as they're respectful.
Yeah.
I just heard something in there.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you?
Yeah. We can end this. We can end this. I'm too close. We can end this. I am very excited to have this beautiful young lady here with us. Let me see how I can phrase this. Greg is her husband. Well, I shouldn't say. I should say. How should I phrase that? How should I phrase that? I don't even know how to.
Well,
to phrase it.
You were absolutely right. Greg is my husband. I'm his wife, but I prefer to say Greg is my husband.
Yes. So we get her name, but he gets the husband title.
Yep.
So it's more that's Kathy's husband. Mm-hmm. Not you get the name, not necessarily him.
You got it.
But I'm telling you that you're my favorite. Mainly because Greg talks a lot about you.
Aw, that's so sweet.
So guys, I want to introduce you guys to Kathy. She's been doing this for, 5-6 years?
I have been investigating for 22 years, but I have been here at OSR since 2004 I started investigating here.
You don't even look that old to have that many years under your belt. 22 years?
Yeah, 22 years.
Okay, so 22 years.
I like you a lot.
So 22 years as a investigator, being in the paranormal world for that long. What would you say your coolest experience has been being a paranormal investigator for 22 years?
I've had, oh my gosh, there's been so many different things that have happened throughout the 22 years of investigating. But here at OSR, I have to say that OSR rocks it. I mean, there are a lot of things that I personally have experienced. My most unique experience here, though, the one that was the coolest, almost like the Holy Grail, was I was up on the 3rd floor. Okay, and I was pushing a tour. Greg, my husband, was actually leading the tour, and I had to leave the room because I thought I had an emergency situation I had to take care of. Now, the group is the only people, they're the only people in the building other than me, right?
Yes.
So I walk around the corner, and I'm looking out a window, and I go to call to see about the emergency, and as I say, hey, what's going on? I felt somebody standing behind me. So, I'm talking, and I did one of these where I went, oh, F-bomb, F-bomb. And I kind of freaked out a little bit, and the person on the phone was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I said, I just saw somebody that's not here. Well, I got to go. And I hung up the phone, and as quick as all of that happened, I turned, the F-bombs, got to go. This guy, he was about 6'2".
Yes.
Got down, he twisted this way, got down on the floor on all fours, crawled across the floor to the hallway. When he got to the hallway, he turned into this ball of light about the size of a softball.
Yes.
It was like a ball of light, but it was fuzzy. You know how, did you ever see those electrical things when you touch it? And
yeah.
So it was kind of like that, but my mind is going, I didn't just really see that. That couldn't have been
Yeah, because I'm processing, I'm like I can see this. I can see it all happening.
And I'm like, no way, that didn't just happen. That's a ball on the floor. So I'm like walking over there to prove that it's a ball and it's nothing paranormal. I walk over there, and this thing starts weaving down the hallway, and it's see-through and everything, and it's fuzzy. So I started to follow it, and when I got to the one door, I flipped on my flashlight. And as soon as I flipped on my flashlight, it disappeared. So I'm like, oh, that was so cool. So I hightailed it back to where the group was, where they were giving the tour, and I'm like, you're not gonna believe what I just saw. Well, Greg pointed out, we have a security camera right there in that spot that was pointing at where I saw that apparition.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, this is awesome. We got it on tape. So we finished up with our tour. We went down to the security cameras. That camera stopped working before it happened and after it happened. We have everything before, we have everything after. So we're like, what the heck? So it stopped the equipment. However, there's another camera that's down the hallway where I started to follow it.
Yes.
You can see me flip on the flashlight. You can't see the thing, but you can see me flip on the flashlight, and then you can see me turn off the flashlight, and you can follow me to the other room and me going like this, like you're not gonna believe what I just saw.
Yes.
So that was like probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
I don't know what to say, because like this cool experience sounds terrifying. Sound absolutely terrifying.
We live for this stuff.
I see that. I see that. Congratulations on your very terrifying experience.
Thank you.
That you coined cool, because I would have been out of there. And so why did you choose Ohio State Reformatory?
I love it.
I know it could have been a lot of other places that you chose in your 22 years to go and be a part of. Mm-hmm. Why OSR?
Look at the building. It
It is
calls you.
beautiful.
The building actually calls you. For me, it did. It called me. The first time I came here in 2004 to investigate it with a group of people, I fell in love with it. I mean, you pull into the drive, you look at the building, and you're just in awe. And Greg said to me, one day I'm going to work here. One day when I retire, I want a job here. I want to work here. And I was like, yeah. So we were kind of like, yeah, this is it's almost like a home we wanted to buy.
Yes.
But you can't buy it. So we're here. We started as volunteers
Yes.
in 2013. And in 2022, I actually became the paranormal program manager out of luck. I was very, very lucky that it opened up when it did, because I've put in a lot of time here because I love it so much. And I was retiring from my last job.
Okay.
And the week before I retired, I got a text from the paranormal program manager that said, I just put in my resignation. And I looked at Greg and I go, I have to try and get that job. If I don't, I'm going to kick myself for the rest of my life.
Yes.
You know, because I was like, I'm retiring. I don't want to work. Yay, woo, you know.
Yeah.
But then this opened up and it was the best move I've ever made. Not only is this a really cool place as far as all the paranormal and the many, many other things here, the people that run this place are amazing. It's probably the best job I've ever had.
Okay. So I just want to let you know that the people here in this place, they don't ever take days off, and they have never retired because they're still walking these halls to this day. So I'm not sure you chose a great job after you retired, because it seems like you're going to go on forever. But what would you say some of the hot spots are here in this Ohio State Reformatory in terms of the most activity? Like if you were coming here on a paranormal investigation, you would say, hey, if I didn't know if you was to be our navigation through this place, what would you tell us? Hey, you want to hit this spot right here, you want to hit this spot right here, not because another paranormal team got it, but because I work here, I know these halls better than anybody else. This is where you want to go.
Absolutely. We actually have ghost walks here that we provide that information.
Okay.
So
okay.
we have ghost walks every couple Fridays, and I would take you on a tour of the building and talk about my personal experiences, things that have happened to me in this building. And the places that I would hit is I would hit the second floor, just kind of in the general area. It like comes to a T. There's a hallway there. There's a lot of phantom smells there. If you go around to the east side, you're going to hit the warden's sleeping area, where there's reports of Helen Gladkey, who was the warden's wife, that she was injured. That's a different story. But anyways, she actually walks the halls here. I actually had the experience of my very first time coming here in 2004, smelling her perfume as I was walking down that hallway. So that area, third floor, and I'm talking administration, I'm not talking the cells. There's two different areas.
We're gonna get to that
Yeah.
in a few minutes. We're gonna get to that in a few minutes.
Now the third floor, everywhere on the third floor is active. It doesn't matter where you go. That's where I saw the apparition.
Yes.
Okay, so and
This is
that
all administrative side.
all administrative side. Anywhere on the third floor, there's reports all the time. I've had many experiences there. The next spot, and I'm going my route.
Yes.
The next spot is the attic. The attic is freaking crazy, just off the wall, nutty. I actually had an experience there that wasn't pleasant.
Okay.
And it's just different on its own. You got to come here to find out everything that goes on. But as you work down the cell blocks, all the cell blocks, I mean, people kind of ignore the cells themselves in the cell block area, whereas those cells are actually pretty active, and there's a lot of guys in there that are lonely.
Okay.
Yeah, and they want somebody to come and visit them. So the cell block, specifically the west cell block, I think the west cell block is more active than the east side. The other location, solitary confinement. I don't like going in solitary confinement so much.
Yeah.
I don't like the feel in there. So that's one of those areas I really don't visit that often.
It just seems lonely.
Yeah, and it's heavy. It just doesn't, it's almost scary.
Yes.
You know, out of all the places here, I think if I were to say, is there any scary place, for me, it would be solitary confinement. Now, there's also the sub-basement. That's another one of those places I don't go to.
Okay.
So I've been down there, I've been investigating there, and I've had experiences, but I like the feel of the other places that I mentioned better.
Okay. So, last question for you. And I've asked all our investigators this, and I have to ask you, why do you think the administration side is so much more active than the sales side? I have my theories.
That's a really good question. I think that the cells are active. However, the administration side is active because of all of the emotion that took place, a different type of emotion. Like you take a look at haunted locations. They're usually schools.
Yes.
They're usually opera houses. They're usually places where there were plays and things like this. This building here, the Ohio State Reformatory, the administration part housed families.
Okay.
So there were actually families that lived here. So you've got the love of the building, you've got the love of life, you've got the emotion that comes with everyday living, plus you have administration of the whole facility. And a lot of people really love their jobs.
Yes.
And because they love their jobs, their heart's here. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Does. I didn't think that. I didn't take that in consideration.
And then there's more to it too. There's more. The more to it is they're museums too. We have the museums on the west side on the first floor. And that's a lot of the museum pieces, artifacts and everything that have come from like the Ohio Penitentiary and stuff like that. Artifacts hold paranormal activity sometimes.
Okay.
That's all in this building and in administration everywhere.
I'm excited about tonight.
Me too.